Good afternoon. Welcome to those who are joining us live on Facebook. First of all, I want to start by thanking Fry's Food Stores for partnering with my office and allowing us to be here at the store, to the Arizona Retailers Association in standing with me and sharing this important message to our community. By the time we're done with the press conference today, it's very likely that a storm very much like this one somewhere in our country will be the victim of organized retail crime. This is not the same thing as shoplifting. Organized retail crime is theft for resale, not for personal use. For those who do this criminal activity, it's turned into a way of life, and in many cases, it is cash for their addiction. They steal large quantities of merchandise worth thousands of dollars. They sometimes walk in with bags ready to take shelves full of product, and typically the resale of this stolen merchandise is done online. Oftentimes, the money finds its way back into the criminal system where it funds other criminal activity. This issue affects you, and it affects all of us. Whether you're being inconvenienced when you go to buy a necessity like toothpaste or pain relievers, batteries, and it's locked away, or when you see a price increase on the products you buy, this crime is affecting all of us. So my office is doing all we can to hold these criminals accountable. I've updated you in the past on other indictments, but we've recently announced 2 other indictments, and there are many, many others who are being prosecuted. Just to give you some numbers, so far this year, we have received 300 submittals from law enforcement for organized retail crimes, and that's the same number we had in all of 2022. And not only do we have 2 months left, but we have the high season of the holidays left. One example of these that we have indicted is the case of Lily Cisnero. And again, as I always remind you, charges are not evidence and people are presumed innocent until proven guilty. But she is charged, she came out of California. She is a prolific criminal who stole $44,000 worth of merchandise from a retailer both here and in her home state. Right now, she's serving a 3-year prison sentence after we prosecuted her case. Cisnero, like many of the others who commit organized retail crime, is part of a ring of thieves coming from out of states where they are not being held accountable by local district or county attorneys. But here in Maricopa County, people like Cisnero are being held accountable, and they will continue to be held accountable. So as I make you aware of our office's work in combating this issue, and with the holiday shopping season upon us, I'm announcing our Safe Shopping campaign. But rest assured, this campaign and our focus on retail theft will remain the same well past the holidays. As you head to the stores, there are some basic things you can do to keep yourself safe. First of all, I would ask you to be patient with retailers. It may take an extra minute or 2 to get an item, such as a decongestant, from behind a locked display. But it's worth it because you're doing your part in preventing people from being able to take those en masse and to resell them, keeping the crooks at bay. Do not engage with the thieves. If you're suspicious about someone's behavior, reach out to a manager, but never confront a thief on your own. Keep your own personal items locked up. If you carry a handbag, keep it closed and keep it close to you. If you leave purchases in your car between shopping stops, make sure your vehicle is locked up tight. One of the things that we will be doing to combat people who are engaged in organized retail crime is we are going to be asking the legislature to pass a law that in part undoes a law that they passed a couple of years ago. That was an overarching law that had people who had committed a series of felonies to be treated only as a second-time offender, no matter how many times they had committed a felony. We are going to be asking the legislature to make an exception and undo that for people who are committing acts of organized retail theft. When they commit those acts, sometimes we are catching them after they have done so much damage and committed so many different crimes. They should not be treated as new to the criminal justice system. They should be punished and held accountable for all the damage they've been doing. Now, I'd like to introduce you to the people that are standing to my side. First of all, we have Tyler Lyle from Walgreens. We have Jolie Schexnayder from Walgreens. We have Stephen Maras from Fry's Food Stores. We also have Michelle Ahlmer, who represents the Arizona Retailers Association. And I'd also like to take a minute to introduce you to the president of Fry's Food Stores, and that's Monica Garnes. Monica, could you please address?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm Monica Garnes, president of Fry's Food Stores, a division of the Kroger family of companies. I want to thank the Maricopa County Attorney, Rachel Mitchell, for holding today's press conference at our store and for inviting Fry's Food Stores to be a part of this important event. As you may already know, organized retail theft impacts all of Arizona's citizens by contributing to higher prices, as well as reducing or completely eliminating stock from our store shelves. This is unacceptable, which is why Fry's Stores has partnered with and supported Maricopa County Attorney's Office, along with local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies against this retail crime since day one, and why we continue to stand alongside them. This is a great thing they're doing for us and our community, and we're happy to join forces, support, and cooperate with them on this important initiative. We are grateful to County Attorney Mitchell, her office, and our law enforcement partners for all their hard work and dedication to this cause. Fry's Food Stores is glad to also provide and utilize our own internal resources to keep products affordable and in stock, and most importantly, associates and customers safe. Safety is one of Fry's Food Stores' core values and our top priority. Collaboration and partnerships with law enforcement and the Maricopa County's Attorney's Office is key to the success of this initiative. So I encourage all of Arizona's retailers to support them in any way that they can. Thank you, County Attorney Mitchell, and everyone here today for all you do and continue to do to keep us safe and capable of providing important products to Arizonans. Now I'd like to turn it back to our County Attorney Mitchell. Thank you.
Thank you so much for participating. And this is a message to all retailers that this is not the price of doing business. And please, if you are experiencing retail theft, please reach out and call the police. Even if the police are not able to respond immediately, they are still able to initiate an investigation that we can later pick up and prosecute. So one of the people I introduced earlier is Michelle Ahlmer. My office's efforts include routinely meeting with members of the Arizona Retailers Association. And so I'd like to have Michelle speak for a couple of minutes on what they're experiencing, what they're seeing, et cetera. Thank you.
Thank you, County Attorney Mitchell, and thank you, Fry's, for letting us be here today. We represent the Arizona Retailers Association. Those are retailers throughout the state of Arizona, and I want to assure you all that we are doing everything we can to make this upcoming holiday season an enjoyable event for all consumers. That includes making things safe, and that whether that's products or our employees or consumers. We are engaged regularly with the county attorney's office. We are grateful for the good work that they're doing. Under County Attorney Mitchell's guidance, they have created a task force that includes retailers. They work with them on a regular basis, and that is really making an impact in Arizona. We are seeing changes in Arizona due to these efforts that other states are not seeing. So we are lucky to have the support that we have from local law enforcement, from the county attorney's office, and from our attorney general's office through their task force. And the retailers, which typically are a competitive group, come together regularly to work on cases together because While there may be certain stores that boosters, we call them boosters, if they come in this store and steal things, they may have like their store that they like to go to, but they typically go to all stores throughout the state. This is a mobile group, it's a traveling group, and they are doing damage wherever they go. Our communities are important to the retail industry, and we want to make sure that your prices remain low, that your experience remains great, and we're so grateful for local law enforcement, county attorney for helping us to accomplish that. Thank you.
You know, and just to accentuate your point about how much damage they do, this leads me to the second indictment, which was of two individuals who came here from out of state. One was indicted for 12 counts, one was indicted for 10 counts. But in one day, those individuals hit 6 cities within Maricopa County. And so they will be held accountable for all of that. So with that, I will open it up for any questions. First of all, are there any questions related to organized retail crime? Yes, ma'am.
Where are you seeing this organized retail crime happening? I know the indictment you were referring to, wasn't that at a Sephora and an Ulta? Are you seeing organized retail crime in grocery stores or electronic stores?
We're seeing organized retail crime everywhere. We're seeing it in home improvement stores. We're seeing it in grocery stores. Obviously, we're here with, thanks to Fry's. You name it. Anything that people can go in and take high volumes or high resale value items from and resell those. That's where they're targeting mostly. Phoenix certainly has its share of it, but we are not seeing it to the degree that we're seeing on television, such as in Los Angeles. And I would attribute that in part, at least, to the fact that we're holding people accountable here. You know, you have district attorneys in other states who are announcing that they're not going to prosecute below $1,000. They won't hold people accountable. That is not the case here in Maricopa County. We will prosecute, we will hold them accountable. And in fact, if they commit multiple acts of misdemeanor theft, we are working to accumulate those amounts so that we can hold them accountable for the felonies that they're committing. Just recently, we sent somebody to prison for, I believe it was 3 years, who owed $18,000 worth of restitution to a variety of retailers because we were able to put those different cases together. Yes, sir.
This might actually be best for Monica. I know you mentioned the team members. You talk about keeping them safe. I know this is just kind of an added layer for them to keep an eye on. What are your instructions to associates or people here just to stay safe?
Do you want to answer that, or you?
Yeah, oh, that's right.
Okay, Michelle, do you want to answer? Sure. We're going to let Michelle.
I can answer on behalf of the retail industry. Each company has their own policies, but generally speaking, those instructions are to not engage. It's important that they remain safe, and that's the highest priority for the retailers.
I'm not sure maybe Mitchell, you would be able to answer this, but with these kinds of crimes, are they growing violent? I mean, sometimes it's not just grab and go. You know?
We do see that some incidences are more violent than they have been in the past.
And to that point, we are seeing, if you're looking for trends, people coming here from other states. And if you'll recall from a couple of press conferences ago, I talked about how we had asked Congress to pass a law requiring felony records to be kept on a standardized level from state to state so that when these individuals come here and we go to court on them, we can prove that they do have a felony record and they can get appropriately sentenced based on that. Sometimes when they come here from other states, the records are lacking. Arizona records are good because when somebody is sentenced here, they're immediately taken over to the bailiff's desk and fingerprinted, and that fingerprint becomes part of the record. But not every state does that. And so if you're dealing with common names, for example, that makes it more difficult. And that's why we've reached out to some members of the congressional delegation. Yeah, hi.
Hi, you talk about changing some laws. Is there a need for increasing the punishments, and what's the average, I guess, sentence that these people, that these organized retailers get? And if you can lower that microphone, just
This one?
that one, yeah.
Okay.
Lower, there you go.
Okay.
Thank you.
You know, we're seeing different things. I mean, obviously, some of the numbers I've read off to you include about 3 years. We've had 4 years, that type of thing. And the statute that we're asking for will increase the punishment, because what it will do is, instead, if somebody rips off 4 different stores, the way the law currently is the first one is treated as a first offense, but then the second, third, and fourth are treated as the second offense. And what we're asking is that they be treated as subsequent offenses, and that will, by its very nature, increase the punishment available. Because these people are career criminals, at least at this point in their lives.
How much has been, like, the losses for retailers here in the state? How big is that?
We have a study that was prepared in 2019 so that those numbers have increased dramatically. But at that point in the state of Arizona, it was 1.4 billion.
I have a follow-up to that. Do you have an estimation of the cost that it costs the retailers and all the various things they do to prevent it?
That's a very good question. We are looking at millions per store, not per company, but per store. So obviously, depending on the size of the store, there are, when we were talking about where does this crime occur, it's even occurring in independent retailers if they have high-value items that can be resold that are very popular. The popular things seem to be the ones that attract everyone's attention, the good and the bad. So that's, and as far as estimates, it would vary by store, but I can guarantee you it's in the millions.
Has there been any research on how much the cost to prevent this theft adds to the price to the consumer? And what is that?
Yes, I don't have solid figures on that, but as you look at inflation, you can guarantee that the cost to secure the products and the cost to combat this crime are in addition to the inflation that you're seeing.
Would you say like maybe 10% higher, or do you
Oh.
have any numbers or anything?
I wouldn't take a guess at this point.
What was the 1.4 billion number?
That's the amount of theft in 1 year in 2019, and as you know,
In Arizona?
yes, in
Okay.
Arizona, yes.
And then-
And as you know, as COVID took place, we had lots of people with masks on, which made it even more comfortable for them to commit crimes. So
Huh.
those numbers are definitely going to be higher when we get the next study.
Okay, got it. And I think the county attorney said we're up a little bit, over 300 criminal referrals this year over last. Do we know what that is like longer term?
Oh, yes,
Is-
it's going to rise much higher than that.
No, I'm sorry. I meant like, going back farther. County Attorney Mitchell, maybe, do we know, or maybe you could follow up, like, do we know what it was like in 2021, 2020, 2019? Like, are we going up, we going down?
I'd have to get you those numbers if you want to go back before 2022.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question, sorry.
Okay.
So are like these crimes, the organized crimes, are they coming more from out of state, or is it in here in Arizona?
It's both, but we are seeing groups of people come in from other states, such as California, New Mexico, Nevada. So we're seeing a combination of those.
Is there some sort of like network that you're trying to do with other states, as you're saying, since they're like going everywhere? Is there something that Arizona's trying to do to work with other states?
Well, I know the Retailers Association is tied into, the information gathering throughout the United States, and I've certainly attended some of those meetings to talk about trends as well as just intel gathering on these individuals. Yep.
I have an off-topic question, unless,
I was just gonna say, on trends, is there like a product or something specific that's being stolen the most?
Anything that's not nailed down.
Yeah, anything that's not nailed down. I mean, we've seen everything. I mean, we've seen baby formula, diapers, detergent, batteries, power tools, generators, just anything. Anything that is going to bring a profit on the resale of it.
And what's going on the resale side? What work is being done with the people who are reselling this?
Well, certainly the people who are reselling it are committing a crime as well. And so the police are looking into what people would normally refer to as fences, but certainly that needs to be investigated too, as well as the individuals who are actually being sent into the stores or going into the stores to do this. Okay.
I have an off-topic question about the April McLaughlin case.
Okay, hang on, let me,
Okay.
okay. Any other questions about organized retail crime? Okay. All right, thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, go ahead.
We know Chandler Police have resubmitted charges to your office. Have you had a chance to review those, and do you know if you will pursue it this time around?
No, we haven't, I mean, it just got resubmitted to our office. I know they did submit it with felony charges. We're gonna take a look at it. There was some additional investigation that was done. So it's not just a matter of re-reviewing what we'd already seen. We have to look at some new information and making a decision on that.
On those charges, it's our understanding you may have a little longer additional time than the standard 48 hours to review that. Is that the case here?
Well,
Why is that?
when somebody is booked, we have, into jail, we have 48 hours. If they're out of custody, though, we have longer to look at it, and so that's, you know, that will take a little bit longer. But that's good, because we're reviewing some detailed records. Yes.
They've also submitted charges through the Chandler Municipal Court.
Mm-hmm.
How do the two cases, I mean, how do they work? What's the process? Does it go through city and then to county? Do you guys do it at the same time, or what's?
We would coordinate with the city. That happens actually fairly often, because we want to make sure that there's no crossover, because if they prosecute the same offense, then there's a double jeopardy issue. So we're going to have to coordinate with them to make sure that that doesn't happen. It's possible that if there are felony charges to be had, that we might take additional cases. We'll just have to look and see what's there.
So she can't face this, because they're charged, I think it was 77 misdemeanors for the city, but then 9 felonies and 9 in the county. So you're saying that she can't face the same crime in different courts, or?
Right, you can't be prosecuted for the same offense, even if they're different charges, if they're based on the same exact conduct. So what would be called a lesser offense. She can't face charges in both locations of the city and the county, so we would have to make sure that that didn't happen.
With the, oh, sorry.
Okay.
Okay. With the Charles Ryan plea deal, do you believe that you followed your own policies and procedures? My reading of it looks like there was supposed to be no offer of a plea made if the defendant pointed or discharged a firearm at a peace officer.
Yes, I think we did follow it, because the as I've been describing, the use a gun, go to prison policy, that applies to armed robbery, that applies to aggravated assault. As you know, Jimmy, he was not charged with either of those. Obviously, this case is still pending, even though he has pled. He's going to be sentenced. But I have made the offer that when the sentencing is over, I'd be happy to walk the media through the thought process of how this case was handled.
Okay.
Offer remains open.
And to that, I mean, what's your response to other attorneys who are saying anybody else who was drunk and pointed a gun at cops would have gotten an aggravated assault charge, and maybe he's getting off with a lighter charge and a lighter sentence because of his background?
It's always dangerous when attorneys who have not read the entire set of police reports, who have not watched the body cams, who have not talked to witnesses, who have not staffed it with senior prosecutors, comment on what they would do, because they're not they have not had that ability to do that. I have had the ability to do it and have done it, and stand by how we've handled it.
Any other questions?
Okay?
Thank you all for coming.